Okay, okay, okay. Good day, world. Welcome to Bandog Talk with the Dog God, episode 6. Now it's early. We're going to let some people come in. For those of you who are listening, we're going to go ahead and get into the lobby, get comfortable. If you at work, do what you do. If you're in the field, do what you do. If you're relaxing, go ahead and get you a drink. Go ahead and grab you some of your herbal sensation, kick back, relax. You know what I mean? Chill in the lobby. We're gonna let a couple people get up in here, and then we're gonna get started on Band Dog Talk with the Dog God, episode 6, brought to you by Formula One Canines. So, like I said, get comfortable, you know, get your earphones in if you're out there busy, working and stuff like that, so you can take a good listen. We got a good show ahead of us. So we'll get started once a couple people get up in here. But like I said, get prepared, man, get comfortable. Because we got some good topics tonight. Hey, what's good with you, Joy? Man, welcome back, brother. Appreciate your consistency. You know what I mean? Right now we in the lobby. I'm gonna call this the lobby, man. Let a few people get up in here before we get to the nitty gritty. So man, if you at home, get comfortable. I'm sure you are, man. Get comfortable, man. Go ahead and get you a little beverage. If you like that herbal sensation, man, go ahead and get you your little stick, roll that thing up. We're gonna talk dogs. We're gonna talk these band dogs, brother. You know how we do. Okay, yep. Okay, then that's perfect. Normally when I listen to my podcast, I'm working, man. I'm listening to people's podcasts and stuff like that. I love just to plug my earphones in, you know, dealing with these dogs all damn day, man. I just listen, man. So that's perfect, brother. That's all good. So yeah, just make sure you drive safely, Joy. You feel me? Don't want no problems, man. Don't want you to get too excited and take focus off the road and shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, we just gonna, chill in the lobby for a quick second, and then man, we'll get started in a couple of minutes. Welcome, welcome, man. We got two, man. Joy, I think we got another person up in here, man. Welcome. We just in the lobby right now. We about to get started in a minute. Just want to let a couple more people come in. But once that minute ticks down, we'll go ahead and kick this thing off, and they can catch the beginning of it on the repeat. You know what I'm saying? But on the live, we're not gonna wait too long. They know I'm 6:15 on the dot. So, salute to you, number two. Um, we're about to get started in a minute, man. So, like I said, get comfortable if you at home. If you driving like Joy, man, pay attention, man. Just focus on the content at hand, man. But get comfortable, brother. If you at home, get you a drink, man. Oh, he's out. But yeah, anyway, Joy, we're about to get started in a few seconds, man. So it's all good. Hey, what's good with you, James? Man, salute to you, brother. I appreciate your consistency, man. Making time for your boy. As we pioneer this band dog talk. But we're about to get started in probably another minute. So yeah, got some good got a good topic of discussion as you see on the bottom of the ticker. So it's gonna be some good stuff for sure. Okay, okay, okay. We're gonna get this podcast started, man. This live started. Welcome to another episode of Band Dog Talk with the Dog God, episode 6. We're going to talk about, as you see below on the ticker down below, right? You see how to produce a performance band dog that would sell for big money or top dollar. Okay. So, one thing about what I want to do with you guys on this channel, on this particular podcast, is, not only are we going to talk about the subject matter at hand, but hopefully you'll be able to learn, especially if you're someone who is trying to breed and get into band dogs from the breeding perspective, and not only this just the breeding perspective of it, but the selling of band dogs. you know you can definitely learn a lot if you pay attention in class. You know what I mean? So this is just not us just talking and shooting the shit. I'm taking time out of my day to really educate all of you based off of what I know by my experiences in the field today. Not something that I've done in the past, and I don't do band dogs, so I'm reminiscing on what I did. No, I'm talking about what I'm doing, what I do. You know what I mean? So it's real time. So you can definitely learn a lot if you pay attention. You know what I'm saying? So, when I talk about this subject matter tonight, um, like I said, for those of you who breed band dogs and is paying attention to this podcast today, episode 6, I mean, I'm gaming you up for free. I don't even have to do it, but I like to see other dog men and dog women, stepping their dog manship up, if that makes sense. You know, thinking about their dog program in a 360 degrees perspective. You know what I'm saying? That means everything, not just one sided, everything. So tonight's topic, man, is a good one. So definitely, y'all pay attention. And again, salute Joy for your consistency. Salute James. You already know how much I appreciate you and respect you, James. Off the top, I appreciate your consistency and your support too, man. So much love and respect. So let's get into the topic at hand, right? So when we talk band dogs, it's not new. Like we've learned in previous episodes, it's been around since medieval time, band dogs, the mastiff crosses. And we already know that every dog created by mankind, derived from the wolf. And then man manipulated genetics by selective breeding. And, that's why we have the dogs that we have today. Now, I'm sure it baffles you like it baffles me, the different types of dogs and how they were able to produce these different phenotypes or looks, right? From the wolf, right? Like, how did the wolf produce a mastiff and the wolf produce a chihuahua? And, all these different phenotypes that we see. I'm still baffled by it, but at the same time, we know the first dog was the wolf. That was man's introduction to the dog, and then man took it from there. Now we fast forward to the band dogs of today, and the it's not popular, so I can't say the popularity. I would say, um, more people are aware of a band dog and are intrigued by it today than they were probably back in, of course, in Swinford days. Sure, he was the early bird. Like I said, is he the godfather? I feel that he's the godfather out here in America, but ain't nothing new under the sun. They were doing mastiff crosses, like I said, way back in medieval times. So when it comes to today's market, like, how do we as breeders take a dog with no paperwork, because you know how valuable paperwork is to the bottom line of sales today. People, they put a lot of value in paperwork. I used to be one of those individuals earlier on in my dogman career, back when I was buying backyard pit bulls with no papers to buying pit bulls with papers. That was something that, you kind of, took pride in, is your paperwork, like, does your dog have papers? That was something that was big, right? As I've learned over the years, and I've, you know, was given game by certain dogmen who wanted to tell the truth about the paperwork, they pretty much showed me that a lot of the dogs that are in the paperwork aren't really the dogs that are in the paperwork, if that makes sense. Paper hanging is very easy to do when the DNA is not required to label the dog in the paperwork. So I can put a dog in the paperwork and say it's this dog, but I use a totally different dog. So once I got the game from the OGs about the paperwork, I quickly was not fascinated with it anymore. I quickly didn't give it any much more clout than it deserved. Once I found out the truth. Before I was naive. So now with band dogs, right? Unless you register your dog with a band dog registry, that's not something that is required when it comes to puppy sales. You know, when you ask a band dog breeder for paperwork, 9 times out of 10, most band dog breeders hasn't registered their dogs with a band dog registry. So to me, that's a good thing because now we can focus on the dogs, not the paperwork, you know. Now, over time, I'm sure once the band dog community grows and people want to, put value in the dogs, then paperwork, could have some relevancy. But right now it doesn't. I mean, the dogs is what matters. So, you know, tonight we're going to talk about the dogs and how we can make a high performance band dog fetch top dollar. It's not easy to do, especially without the paperwork. However, it can be done. So, let's dive into it, man. Let's hit this first subject matter at hand, all right? Because I like to break things down so that we can comprehend everything and then build it back up. You know what I'm saying? Break it down and build it back up. That's what I do best. So here we go, man. Let's go. All right. So we're going to talk about the wow factor. Okay. I'm sure you guys heard me talk about just mention the wow factor in previous episodes. So we need to produce a band dog that has that wow factor. Okay. What is a wow factor? Now, of course, when you see a large dog, right? A mastiff, something that's big, large. You see it, you're like, wow, that's a big dog, right? Or you see a dog with a lot of muscle, you be like, wow, that dog is muscular. You see a dog with great uh, conformation, you be like, wow, look at the structure on that dog. You get what I'm saying? The wow factor. Okay, this is very important when you want top dollar for your dogs. Okay, if it doesn't stick out in a good or a bad way, because there's a lot of dogs out there that has extreme features that stick out in what I would say a bad way, but it's a wow factor enough to create, you know, a market frenzy, if you want to call it that, to fetch top dollar, you know, like the exotics, for example, those exotic bullies. Okay. They want the freakiest, most extreme dog. Okay. That's their wow factor, the freaks, right? Now, to each their own. Now, I wouldn't want a dog that's freakish that doesn't perform, right? I do like the freaks, but they have to perform. You know what I'm saying? The freaks of natures that perform, but at the same time, like the like the exotic bully is a more of a novelty dog. It's more of something that you see, and the freakiest, the freakier you see it, the more money it gets. You know what I'm saying? Which is to me backwards, because if it's not going to live, if it's not functional, then why am I going to pay for that? You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't do it. However, it's a market for it, and they get probably shit. They're probably at least top three when it comes to money for those dogs. Man, they get a lot of money for those freakish exotic bullies. The wow factor, if you want to call it that. Okay, so for us doing band dogs, performance band dogs, we have to produce a band dog with the wow factor. If you want to fetch top tier dollars, okay? Now, we're going to go into the pricing of band dogs today, right? Now, we know with the band dog, it is not a breed, right? We know band dogs isn't a breed, it's a job title, right? For a working personal and property protection dog. Okay, so it's not a breed. So the focus really is the dog's ability to do its job as a personal and property protection canine companion. Okay, that is the focus. Okay, should be the focus. Now, this topic tonight is about how we're going to sell these personal and property protection dogs, these working dogs, these exotic style working dogs, because they're, you know, they're multiple breed mixes. How can we get this particular style of working dog, the band dog, to sell for, like money like the exotic bullies might go for, or them crazy colored and fluffy French bulldogs go for, right? Or some of these American bullies go for, right? How do we get our band dogs, performance band dogs, keyword, to fetch them type of dollars? Okay, so let's go to our next topic. Okay, below on the ticker, you see what is the average price for a band dog today. Okay, now you can sell your dogs for whatever you choose to sell your dogs for. Okay, band dog breeders. Okay, if you're not confident, if you're just experimenting, right, you know, you might want to do a blowout price because you don't want to be sitting on puppies. You just might want to do a breeding so you can keep a couple of them and then you want to off the rest. So you can sell your puppies for whatever. You can actually give them away if you choose, because you're in the experimental stages of your program. However, if you feel like you got a recipe and you feel like it's something that the market needs and it should fetch you a certain amount of money, what can you expect from people who is actually searching for band dogs to want to spend, right, for your band dog? So the average price is between $1,000 and $1,500. Okay, for a good band dog. Okay, that means you got your genetic recipe on point as far as a certain type of dogs that you put in there, so that intrigues the consumer. The look of it, is appealing, right, to the consumer that might want to spend with you, right? So then when you advertise and you have people inquiring, all those check marks are checked in your box, and you can say confidently when they ask you how much, you could say maybe first pick is 1,500, you know, maybe first pick is 1,000. Maybe your standard price is 1,000 for each and every one of the puppies. No picks involved. It's just 1,000. You know, if you're confident in your finished product, you should be able to fetch $1,000 for your band dog. Okay, which is cool, right? It's cool. It's not. You know, it's not where I would want to be, but I'm saying it's cool if you're just starting and you have something that you feel confident with, until the market knows what you have, and then you have a what I call a supply and demand situation where you can raise your price tag, and the people who's been searching for your particular band dog knows that, what, I missed that last litter, I wanted to get it. I missed the one before, I wanted to get it. Now I'm how much you asking? Okay, I want it. You know what I mean? So you have to create that. But you can expect with a good band dog anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500, right? But tonight's topic is about how we gonna get the big money, right, for a performance band dog. Because see, that's the mission that I'm on, right? That's why I spent top tier dollars for my DNA, okay? Because I want to get what I'm worth, the time that I put in, you know what I'm saying, for my band dogs. I want to set myself apart from every other band dog breeder to where when they see my program, they see my dogs, they see what type of money I'm getting for my dogs, they look at me as the bar. Okay. Right now, I would say I'm a rookie in the band dog world. I've only been offering my band dogs to the public for a year. Okay. So I'm a rookie in the band dog world. I'm not a rookie in the dog world, but I'm a rookie in the band dog world. Right. But I have a vision, I have a mission, I have a goal, um, a plan of action. And based off of that plan of action, I know over time that I will achieve the level that I'm trying to achieve. Creating that supply and demand issue for my level of performance band dogs and creating that wow factor when it comes to my performance band dogs. You know what I'm saying? You know, we can all take our band dogs to some trainer and do agitation work and get the dog riled up and pissed off to want to bite somebody. You know, we can all do that, and that looks good, right? It does. That aggression looks good. Like, oh, that dog is mean. But because that dog is mean, is that the reason why somebody's going to want to pay you a lot of money for that dog? Probably not. There's a lot of mean dogs out there. But that dog has to look a certain type of way to trigger an emotion for that particular person who wants a band dog to pay what you asking. Okay. So that's what we're going to dig into. Like, how do we do that? How do we create that? You know what I'm saying? Is that even possible for a band dog, a mixed breed? Which I will tell you, every dog created by mankind that is an official breed was a mixed breed, is a mixed breed, by the way. Okay. There's no dog that was created that is a breed today that wasn't multiple breed crosses to create it. So just understand that reality. So when we're doing these band dogs, that is the recipe for every freaking breed of dog known to man. Mixing breeds to create a breed, mixing breeds to create a breed. So that's pretty much what we're doing in the band dog community. So ain't nothing new under the sun. This ain't rocket science. You know what I'm saying? There's an art form to it, but it's not rocket science. It's just this breed, that breed, cook it up. Hopefully you get what you got. Oh, didn't get it, erase it, fix it. Okay. All right. So we talked about the average price of the band dog, 1,000 to 1,500 right now. But like I said, don't expect that if your recipe ain't, I don't want to give you a false reality coming into the band dog game that you think that if you take breeds and mix them and then you call it a band dog, you're going to get 1,000 to 1,500. I don't want to create that false reality with you guys when I say this. This is the average price for a program that's established, okay, that you can get 1,000 to 1,500. Okay. If you over there experimenting, you might have to do the red hot chili pepper that give it away, give it away, give it away now. Okay. That's that retro, that's that old school red hot chili pepper. You might have to give it away now. Or you might have to, give them that old school $100, $200, what they call workers' man's price. You know what I mean? And to the pit bull communities, you know what I mean? Man, what's that working man price? They want that $100 pit bull, that 250 shit. You know what I mean? You might have to do that with your band dog. But if you established in your program It makes sense what you cooked up. It looks presentable to the consumer. You can feel confident and say, "Hey, man, I want 1,000 for these puppies." You know what I mean? And then you probably will get it. Okay. So let's move on to the next topic. Okay. So check out below on the ticker. All right. So, what is the top of the market performance Bandog price today? Okay. Who has the top of the market Bandog price currently? All right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. And, I did the old, the Google Bandog kennels. Okay. So, let's see what we got here. And look at what we have here. Check out the screen here. Okay. Are you guys familiar with Lee Robinson? I'm sure you guys are, right? You guys familiar with Lee Robinson? Well respected band dog breeder. I respect him. He's very knowledgeable. He does his things with his band dogs. I would consider him one of the top 3 breeders in the band dog community. Okay. So if anybody's getting top dollar currently in the band dog world, it has to be Lee Robinson. Okay. He's got an established program. He's very, very, very knowledgeable in dogmanship. Okay. He knows what he's doing with the band dog itself. You know, he's a guy that we can respect in the band dog world. Okay. So we're going to go check out his band dogs for sale, right? And we're going to base the top of the market off of Lee Robinson. Because when you Google band dog kennels, he's top 2 that pops up. So that means he's been doing it for a while to where Google recognizes him to put him right up there at the top when you type in band dogs. All right. So we're going to give, Lee Robinson his flowers. Okay. We're going to respect him. So check him out. Okay. Okay. So he got one on here for 1,500, right? 13-month-old. Okay, 1,500. That's pretty down. I mean, hey, that's a good price. 13-month-old, you know what I mean? He says it's pet class. So, I guess that one didn't meet his full standard. But 1,500 right here he's got, right? So remember I told you from 1,000 to 1,500, that's Lee Robinson, though. You know what I'm saying? So he got a rep. So when he says 1,500, people ain't going to be questioning him about his prices. You know what I mean? So here we go. Let's keep on scrolling down. Let's get to the puppy game. Okay, so he's got a new breeding right here. Nice, hey, beautiful dogs though, right? Beautiful dogs. Okay, so you see these prices here. So 2,500, third pick, fourth pick, 2,500, second pick, 3,000. Let's see what else he got. 3,000, 2,500. Okay. 3,000. Okay. So what we will say based off of Lee Robinson. Okay. So here we go. We can say that 3,000 is his top tier price for his band dogs. 3,000 is his top tier price. All right. Lee Robinson. Y'all see that? 3,000, 2,500. All right. So being that we're looking at Mr. Lee Robinson, we're going to give him his flowers. We're going to say he's at the top of the game when it comes to band dog productions and band dog sales. Okay. His price is $3,000. Okay. So currently 3,000 is the top of the market. Now, I would say this. If Mr. Lee Robinson, with his reputation and his experience in the band dog world and the dog world in general, okay, if he wanted to sell his band dogs for more than $3,000, he would have to bring into his program what we talked about earlier in the first topic. He would need to bring in the wow factor. You understand what I'm saying? When we talked about that wow factor, his dogs look excellent. They're functional. He got muscular dogs. They do their job, right? But at the same time, and this is no shade on Mr. Lee Robinson, I got nothing but respect for his program and he's doing his thing. But if he wants to get money like, let's throw out of money. Let's double his three. If he wants to get 6,000 and above for his band dogs, he would have to go back in the lab and take what he's built and put some flair on it, if that makes sense. The structure has to, he's got to create a different structure, like how we were talking about with sports cars, right? When you look at a base model and then you look at the sporting model of the car, not to say that Lee Robinson's dogs is base. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying how a sports model looks that fetches that money that they be asking for those sports cars, right? Let's say we look at the base Corvette, and then you look at the ZR1 Corvette. You see the difference in the flares and the additions to the body, right? That makes you go, wow, right? The car already is good. Like, okay, I like the vet. Ooh. But then when they take you over there into that, the showroom floor and you see that one ZR1 on there with the dealer markup on it, because there's only one or there's only a few of them. But then you look at it and it's got you all emotional, right? You see the spoiler on that thing. You see the wide, it's got the little wide body, bigger rims, all the little extras, little flares, got the hood scoop on it, like all the stuff you see, it's called the wow factor. You understand? So for someone like Lee Robinson, who's already getting top of the market at $3,000, okay, he's getting that, by the way. Okay, so salute to Mr. Lee Robinson. However, if he wants to double that, he's got to put those flares on it, like the ZR1, like I mentioned. He's got to put the flares on it, on that dog, to make you be like, damn, make you be like, excited, ethered up to where you like, how much you asking? Mr. Lee Robinson, how much you asking for that, man? Man, that dog is amazing. How much you asking for it? Hey, brother, I need 6,000, man. I need six of them right now. And you're thinking to yourself, well, man, Lee, like other people's band dogs is $1,000, Lee. Why are you asking me for 6, man? Well, look how excited you are about my dog, man. Have you been that excited about other people's band dogs that you've been looking at? Well, I mean, not really. I mean, there's some cool ones, but not like yours. Okay, well, okay. Can you get a band dog like mine's with these type of flares, right? This wow feeling that you got? Have you felt that before with other people's band dogs? Well, no, Mr. Robinson. Okay, well then, what you gonna do? Can you shop me somewhere else and get this? Well, no, Mr. Lee Robinson, you're the only one with that. Well, okay, well, that's why I'm charging what I'm charging. And so what happens is that person thinks about it and they're like, you know what, Lee, you're right. I really want this particular, dog here that you have. So guess what? I'm going to have to spend that money. I'm going to have to spend that money with you because you have something that I want that I can't get anywhere else. And it's got me so excited about what I'm seeing. And I'm so amazed that, you know what? It's making me want to spend that money, right? Just like when we talked about the Corvette, when I'm in the dealership and I'm looking at vets to buy and I look at that base model, like, oh, this is, cool. And then, the salesman, sets me up, he throws himself an alley-oop, right? He gets me all excited about the base model and he tells me the price tag. I'm like, oh, okay, I could do that. It's pretty pricey, but I can do that. Then he says, here, let's go to the showroom floor. Then he shows me the ZR1. Now I'm just like, I'm excited, what I'm saying? I'm losing it over here. I'm pulling my hair out. I'm just like, what is this? Hey man, this is the ZR1, man. This is going for, double that. Oh, now you're like, damn, double that. But I'm so ethered up, I'm so excited. I'm gonna spend it if I got it. You know what I mean? Like I'll spend that money if I got it. So with Mr. Lee Robinson, we're gonna say the top of the market is 3,000. Okay, 3,000. Now we're gonna get into, okay, what's our next topic? Hold on, we're gonna get into how can we do this, right? Let me see. Y'all there? Everybody good? Hey, salute, Frank. Man, welcome, 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 man. We just getting started, man. We just getting started on the cook up. So, welcome, brother. Appreciate you. Okay, so the next topic. Which breeds, okay, of dogs must you use to produce that wow factor performance? Bandog. See, this is the game that y'all getting from the dog guy, right? This is stuff right here that most dog men will not tell you because they see you as competition. Me and my comrades, I like to call them, and I only have a few comrades. We got this thing called friendly competition. Okay, it's competition, but it's friendly because we want to push each other to do better. We don't want to push each other, and then as we surpass one of our comrades, we're going to hate on them and gloat and bloat on them. No, we want to push them to where they push us. It's like it's a push to push. One of us is in front, so we're pushing the wave. Then I ride behind them and catch his draft, and then I bounce out outside him and get in front, and then he's riding my draft. Like that's how we operate with the friendly competition. So when it comes to this Bandog game being at it's not new, but the community is new. Okay, what I'm doing, I'm pioneering with the Bandog talk. I'm trying to give y'all this game. Okay, so that I can be like, yo, brother, what you doing over there, or sister, what you doing over there? Wow, wow, the buzz you got over there with your Bandogs. Wow, right? The wow factor, the money you getting for your Bandogs. Wow, see, that's the game. That's what I'm trying to create in my own lane. So if I'm setting the bar high for myself and I got somebody who's watching me, listening, paying attention, taking notes, you know what I mean? Maybe have another way of doing what I'm doing even better and then does it. I'm saluting them. They come back and say, hey, dog God, man, I appreciate you. Dog God, man, I followed your recipe, man. I listened to everything you said, man. Now I'm getting that money. Look what I produce. And I'm gonna be like, wow, that's what I want to say. Wow. Because that's what's gonna get us the money. Is the wow factor. And it gets people ethered up and excited to spend. Okay. That's how I was when I was on my canine DNA shopping spree. I was looking for the genetic characteristics that was going to make me say wow and spend my money. See? So back to the topic. Which breeds of dogs must you use to produce that wow factor? Okay. Now with the Mastiff, there's plenty of Mastiffs you can use. So, like if you're trying to produce a really big dog, right? You would go for a really big Mastiff, right? And you keep the genes heavy on the Mastiff side. So if you want your Bandog to be big and it wows people by its size, then you would go with a really big Mastiff to start with. And there's various Mastiffs you can use that have a lot of size. Okay. But see, what I'm going to show you guys is how to create the well-rounded, Okay, wow factor. Okay, not just the biggest, because that does play, right? The biggest dog, you got you a 500-pound dog. If there was ever one, people will be wild at that, right? Like, oh my God, I never heard of a 500-pound dog. Or like, how Marlon did with the Hulk, you know what I mean? He got the 180-pound so-called pit bull, which we know at the end of the day, that's not necessarily a pit bull standard. Maybe his paperwork is a pit bull, but as far as the standard goes, we would not consider that a pit bull. However, that's Marlon, that's his dog. That's how he marketed him, and that's how he caught his wave. So if he says it's a pit bull, we're gonna let him say it's a pit bull, just out of respect of him and his and what he's created and what he's done. But he created a wow factor. You understand what I'm saying? Which was a size of a dog, which was so-called a pit bull. Okay. Wow. Look at that dog, the Hulk. It's huge. And that boy made what, million? I mean, probably a couple million, few million. Who knows how many millions, but I know he was a millionaire off that damn dog. So I got to salute that all day. But my point is, okay, the wow factor. You can create a dog with the size to create the wow factor, right? Okay. But what we're going to talk about is how do we produce, what breeds we're going to use to create the all around wow factor. Okay. And that's even in performance. Okay. So we got to take a mastiff for size, for its ability to guard, and since we're creating man stoppers, we need something to be able to take down a man, and a mastiff for sure with its size and strength can take down a man. We know that, right? That's what they were bred for, right? So we're going to use a mastiff. Whatever you choose is your choice. Okay. Now, the frame is very important when you talk about wow factor. Okay. Wide frames are very attractive. A dog's front, which is his chest spread, is very attractive to people when they see it. Okay. So, in order to get a wide front, you need to deal with dogs that have wide fronts. And the most commonly used dog with a wide front is very self-explanatory when you think about it as a dog, man. It would be an American bulldog, okay, that has the wide fronts. Hopefully, you can find an American bulldog, and this is the key, okay, with the wow factor. And this is actually going to be on the next topic, but with the wow factor, you got to make sure what you see is what you're getting. If you don't necessarily see that wow in the dog that you're using, hopefully you get it in that previous generation, into the parents, that wow factor is there. Okay. But we need to create a frame that gives our dog a profile, okay, a sporty profile, a wide body profile, because we're creating a wow factor. You understand? We got the mastiff for the size. Now we need to have a frame on that mastiff, because I see a lot of the mastiff frames, right? They're not really wide, right? A lot of the mastiff frames is pretty sloppy, because they're so big, but they're not really wide bodied in it. You know what I mean? So since we're adding a mastiff, we need to widen that frame out. So we're going to use an American bulldog to widen that frame up. Okay. And get you an American bulldog that has its rears matching its fronts. Try not to, if you can. Now, sometimes you can't. It's going to take you longer if you do it not the way I'm telling you. Okay. Let's say you find an American bulldog with an extreme front, like that front is wide, but his rear is not necessarily matching his front, but you love that spread and you want it. Okay. Now, if you have time and patience, and you really want the dog that bad because you want that chest, then okay, do it. You know what I mean? Do it. But just know that it's going to take some time to get that rear to match. Because now you got to make sure that the dogs you use after that is heavy in that rear section. The rear section is big And it's at least 3 generations of that shit too. Not 1, 3, so that you can make sure you get it. See, you solidify it. So we need to widen that platform. We're going to use an American Bulldog for that, right? Okay. And you're going to get some good muscle, and you're going to get some durability using that American Bulldog. Okay. To widen it out, widen that front. Okay. Now, when you do that F1 breeding with that Mastiff and that Bulldog, okay, you need to have the eye for the puppy. You're not going to get a complete dog off that first F1 breeding. Do not lie to yourself and think, oh, I'm going to get the perfect mix. No, you're not. Okay. You're taking 2 different breeds and just and slapping them together. It doesn't work that way. It's going to take some time. So make sure you pick out the dog that has, or the puppy that has, the majority of the things that you need in that frame that you're looking for, right? Because we're building the wow factor. Okay, that's the key. It's the visual. Okay, if you're trying to create a dog that's going to sell for top tier dollar, right? Because people see the dog first. They don't know how that dog bite. They don't know how that dog works. Okay, that puppy when they get it, they don't know how that is. Okay, so you got to make sure that visual is sexy before the test drive. So make sure you pick out that puppy that has those that blend as much as possible. Okay, so make sure you do that. Don't get caught up in the biggest one. Don't get caught up in the color. Don't get caught up in the big head. The puppy has to have a blend of that Mastiff and that Bulldog. Okay. Now, once you widen that frame, right, we need to tighten the skin up. You have to tighten the skin up. Okay. People like tight, skin, that droopy skin. I mean, that's a Mastiff trait, the droopy jowls, in the neck is droopy. You know what I mean? Like, that's a Mastiff trait. But people like tight, you know what I mean? Because it shows the muscle tone better when that skin is tight, shows the features of the jaws, and the head when it's tight skin, and the neck, and you know what I mean? It shows those features a lot better. You know what I mean? And that's why we want to tighten the skin out. So, of course, you know what I mean? We're going to throw a dog like a pit bull up in there, right? And we use the pit bull for multiple reasons, but you're definitely going to get good muscle from the pit bull. You're going to get good muscle from the American Bulldog, right? You're going to get tighter skin from the pit bull as well, but you're also going to lose size throwing that pit bull in the mix. Okay. But remember, this is a process. This ain't no overnight success. This is from step 1 to wow. What we talking about. Okay. Now, you know that you're going to eliminate some of that spread, right? Unless you use a pit bull that has a nice spread. Okay. Okay. And like I said, we'll talk about that on the next topic. But we're talking about the breeds that you use, right? Okay. So we talk about the Mastiff and any type of Mastiff you want, depending on the size and the drive. Okay. An American Bulldog is a must because there's no other dog aside from the American Bulldog that you can get that performance in them wide frames. Okay. And the grit, that Bulldog toughness, and Bulldogs got grit. I mean, they can take a beating, and you need to have a dog, if it's going to be a Bandog, that can take a beating. It's got to be able to take an ass whooping and give it. You know what I mean? Any dog that can't take an ass whooping is not qualified to be a Bandog, because, shit, if you up there dealing with prey or you're dealing with a man's going to fight. A prey going to fight, and that dog got to take pain. So Bulldogs are good for that grit. You know what I'm saying? So we add the pit bull into the mix. Got to add that, right? Okay, tighten that skin up, add some performance features to it, compound the muscle as well. Okay. Now you have that, you have that real base. You have that 3-dog base. But remember, the visual has to tell you, wow, out of the puppies that you pick, you have to know how to pick your productions. Now, if you're able and you have time and you're patient and you can keep all the dogs off of those three particular breedings, then do it and make sure you let them dogs develop and see which ones visually show you what you want, right? Now, let's say you created with three breeds that dog that has that wow factor. Okay. Now, to you as wow, to the people who sees it that, might know you, or, you might be walking that dog somewhere and they're like, wow, what is that? Get that confirmation. Don't lie to yourself. Be like, oh, this is wild to me, but everybody else is like, oh, that's a cool dog. It needs to stop people. Wow factor, right? It needs to have that. Now, if you have that dog within those three breed mixes, right? Let's say you have a male and a female, and you found that dog right there. Wow, it's showing you all the features. You just use three dogs: that Mastiff, the American Bulldog, and the Pit Bull, and it's showing you these things that we talk about. The muscle. It's got a nice, sturdy, you know, extended wide frame. Skin is tight. Nice size. Of course, the performance is there, but we talk about the visuals. You know what I mean? It's stopping people in their tracks. you know, People asking you what is it, right? You feel like, okay, I got it. Let's say you have a male and a female that both have that out of the same litter. Okay. Now, this is where, some breeders won't go there, but pit bull breeders, people who are creating an actual breed, they know that in order to solidify those genes that you have that's scattered, because we just created a scattered bred dog with these three different breeds. You need to tighten those genes up once you find it, right? So now we got to get into the inbreeding cooking. We got to inbreed the cook up. Okay. So before I get into that, let me go into the next subject here. Okay. And then we'll dig deeper into the how we cook it up and how we solidify those genes. All right. So to tie into what we were just talking about, okay, make sure the breed of dogs you choose has those wow factor genetic characteristics that you can see. Okay. Make sure that you can see that in the dogs that you're using. You can see the genetic characteristics that you want to add. Okay. Whether it be the bone, the head, the mass of that mastiff. You see it like, oh, I see them thick bones, or I like them bones on that mastiff. I like the overall size. What is it, 150 pounds? Okay, it's pretty deep in the family. Dad was 175, whatever. You're doing your mathematics through the three generations. Okay, that means I'm solidified if I'm three generations with that size and that bone, that head. I like that. Of course, you know what I mean? It's got the temperament I want. Cool, but we talk about the visual. Make sure that mastiff have everything that you envision for your recipe. You see it in that mastiff. You see that frame of that American Bulldog that you want to add to that mastiff. You know what I'm saying? You see that head, whatever, that muscle tone of that American Bulldog. It has the grit. Okay, you see it. You got the confirmation from the breeder that that's what it is. Okay, try not to. Try not to, if you can. Okay, take a dog that, use a dog that might look okay, but let's say the dad looks great. The dad has the chest and everything you want. Maybe the grandfather and maybe the top and bottom might have it. Try not to go that route, because it's going to be harder to bring those traits forward if it's not visually shown in the dog that you're using. You know what I mean? It's possible. Okay. But try not to. If you want to do it in a timely manner, make sure the dogs that you're using for this cook up to create this wow factor dog has the genetic characteristics that you see. Okay. Now, once we get these dogs, let's say you have a littermate brother and a littermate sister. Both of them have what you want, right? You see it with your own eyes. It's been confirmed. You're getting confirmation as you're showcasing these dogs. People are amazed. They're like, wow. They're giving you that wow factor. They're like, they're clapping their hands, stomping their feet like, yo, you cooked up some amazing shit. Okay. You take the brother and sister and then you breed them together, man. Okay. You take those genetics and then you compound them together. Okay. You could take the son to the mom, or you could take the father to the daughter. You could do that too. But if you have two out of a litter that has the genetic characteristics that you want, take them, breed them together. Now you should have a pretty consistent litter, okay? Because the genes are tightened as you breed those together. Both brother and sister have loose, scattered genes. Then you take those scattered genes and you tighten them up, okay? I said this is old school game dog, performance dog breeding, okay? But this is how you solidify those scattered genes. You got to tighten them up. You got to inbreed that shit in there. Don't be afraid to do it, okay? Don't be afraid to do it, okay? Only time you worry is when you see that you've got problems, man. You know that you bred tight to tight. You know what I mean? Too tight to too tight, you're going to get fucked up genes. That's just common sense. But if you know you got scattered and scattered, even though they brother and sister, breed them jokers together. Okay, because you got to tighten them things up to make sure that you can produce a consistent look. Because we're trying to keep that wow factor. Once we have it, we're trying to keep it. Okay? We're trying to keep it. So we just used 3 dogs, Mastiff type dog, and that's of your choice now. A must is the American Bulldog. A must is the American Bulldog. Get you an extreme American Bulldog with extreme fronts and extreme rears. It doesn't have to be the biggest one because you got the Mastiff already that's got the size for you. Make sure that that frame is what you're looking for, right? That frame to widen out that Mastiff type, okay? Make sure that American Bulldog has muscle. Okay. Make sure that in the family tree, those dogs are gritty. They can take pain. They can take a beating. Okay. You need some tough bulldogs in that Mastiff. Okay. With an extreme frame. And then get that pit bull, man, to tighten everything up, enhance the motor and all the stamina and all the stuff that the pit bull brings to the table. Okay. And then pick the right dogs. When you do the F1, then the F2, you got to pick the right dogs, the right puppies. Okay. And then once, let's say you blessed enough to have that third piece, and you're like, cool, man, I got my dogs off the third piece. You might not get it in the third, on that third breed. It might not be what you want. You might have to add something else. Might have to add a fourth breed to get what you want. You know what I'm saying? But let's say you do on the third breeding, you got a brother and a sister, because let's say you kept the whole litter. Because see, that's what I did. When I did my first Bandog breeding, I kept everything. You know what I mean? I wasn't giving nobody nothing. Now, I did bless a family member with a female. I blessed, I gave it to him. You know what I'm saying? Just because, he was in the dogs too, and I wanted to bless somebody. So I was like, look, man, this is what I'm gonna bless you with, man. I'm keeping the whole litter, but I'm gonna give you a little jewel. You know what I'm saying? Here you go. However, I kept everything else. Okay. And each one of those dogs that I kept showed me different parts of the genetic pool that I was using with those breeds. And I use 4 different breeds, by the way, to create my dogs that I have today. And because I kept all of the puppies besides that one, right? Every one of those dogs is different. However, I can see all the genetic characteristics of every dog from that recipe in each one of them, and they're showing themselves in a different way. Okay, so that's a good thing if you can keep your litters and then use them accordingly. But if you can't, make sure you have the eye, right? You got to have an eye to be able to pick out the right dogs that has the overall look that you're trying to achieve for that wow factor. Okay. So let's say we did it, right? We did it. We created those. We took the brother and sister, we bred them together. We solidified that. That litter comes up, and then it's consistent with the brother and sister, right? You seeing, oh, wow, this litter is looking just like the brother and sister. Both of them looking, it's just looking consistent. All the puppies is pretty consistent. Now, when you go to the market, right, you got a solidified recipe. You go to the market, you get a lot of fanfare because you got, the brother and sister you showcasing. They come from the same litter. So they're kind of similar to a degree, but they both have a wow factor. That female has a wow factor. Whatever that wow factor. Let's say if it's her muscle tone and in her overall shape. Let's say that's what that female, like, people like, wow, look at the muscle and that overall shape on that bitch look bad. That's a bad bitch. What is that? You tell them in the recipe, oh, it's a this, it's this mastiff, this. People like, damn, they're intrigued by the mix. Like, damn, man, how do I get one of those? When you gonna have puppies? Okay, you're getting that buzz. Okay, getting that buzz off the production. The male, he's got the size, he's got all the things that, what I mean, people looking at like, wow, that dog look like it can do damage. That dog looking like a warrior. You know what I'm saying? And then it's getting fanfare, right? Now, when you announce that particular breeding, you can put a price tag on it. So let's say you want to experiment and you want to say, okay, I think I should get what Lee Robinson is getting. Now, you reaching for the stars when you're going after the top, right? But we don't give Lee Robinson his flowers. So, $3,000, we don't say that's top tier. We already mentioned that. It's top tier dollars for a Bandog. You said, man, I can get 3,000 for mine. Lee Robinson is getting his. I can get 3,000. Lee Robinson got great dogs, but I got that wow factor, right? I got that wow factor. My dog's muscled up like a bodybuilder. It's got the wide body frame. It's got the size. It's tight skin. Everybody's oohing and on. Why you ask 3,000? Now, will you get it? I don't know. I can't tell you if you'll get it or not. But based off of what we talked about, it should appeal to enough people to where they probably will respect your price tag. Right? Because if they're looking at the mom, they're looking at the dad, and both of them have a level of wildness to them, and you say, man, I need 3,000 for this one, like, what I mean, like, oh man, 3,000, yeah, well, here, I'm gonna go take you to Lee Robinson's page, man. You know what I mean? He top tier. You know what I mean? Look what he's offering. You want that one? Go shop with Mr. Lee Robinson, man. He's got some good dogs. But no. Hey, I want that. I want that one. Oh, you want what I got? Okay, well then, man, can I get what Lee Robinson is getting? People, all right, yeah, I'll give you that. Okay. But in reality, the dogs will sell itself without you having to go in reference to Mr. Lee Robinson. You see what I'm saying? The dogs will get you the money because that wow factor is that much more appealing, and it makes people want to spend money with you. You see what I'm saying? It makes people want to break bread with you because they're like, damn, I can't get that nowhere else. That cook up that he did, that particular mastiff that he used, that particular American bulldog he used, that particular pit bull he used. Wow. Wow factor again. Wow. Because remember, even though we use the mass, let's say we all use the same breeds, right? The same breeds, we all used it. Okay. Everybody's 3-breed combo is going to come out looking different because every dog that we use isn't the same. Let's say you use the Neapolitan Mastiff. I use a Neapolitan Mastiff. My choice of Neapolitan Mastiff might not be the same choice as yours, right? The family of dogs behind that Neapolitan Mastiff of course, is not going to be the same as yours, right? The American Bulldog, you might have chose a different style of American Bulldog than what I chose, right? You might choose a different style of pit bull than I would have chose. So our phenotypes are going to look different, even though we use the same breeds. And that's why I said, make sure the breeds of dogs that you choose from have the features that you can see, the wow factor features that you can see. Try your best. Okay. Don't be cheap with your DNA. When you're a breeder, don't do it to yourself. You just set yourself back. King Lou, what's good with you, family? Welcome. You set yourself back. Trust me when I tell you. Okay? You have to make sure, if you want to accomplish your end result faster, you have to make sure the dog that you're looking at, okay, not the paperwork you reading, the dog that you're looking at shows you the genetics that you're going to get, because that's how it works. That's really how it works. Okay. Like I said, it's not rocket science. It's an art to it, but it's not rocket science, man. Look at the dog. Look at that dog in front of you. Talk to the breeder. Ask him how solid those traits are in the family tree. Does dad have something like that? Is the dad like this? Is the mom like this? Is the granddad like this? Is the grandmom like this? Like, is the uncles like? Ask the breeder how deep rooted are those genes, so that you know, okay, if it's rooted in his genetic profile, when I blend it in with my recipe, I should get somewhat similar to what's in his genetic profile in my offspring. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's how you got to see it. So eventually we want to get to that $6,000. Okay. Right. We want to get, some pretty good money for our band dogs. To get that, you got to take that wow factor and put some extreme features on it. That's a whole nother level. Like, real talk. That's a whole nother level. Now, I can speak for myself. And like I was telling you in previous episodes, right? If you're able to buy from a breeder who's already did the F1s, F2s, F3s, right? They did all the hard work, that beginning hard foundation work for you. And they have a frame for you to work on. They got a platform of a dog for you to work on that's already wowing, and all you have to do is add some extra features to a wild dog. That's how you do it. Okay. That's how you do it. Real talk. But as we mentioned, I took you from square one, step one to step three. Okay. And showed you how to pick out the right dogs that is going to give you a wow factor outcome enough to where you can get at least at least 1,000 to 1,500 for your band dogs. Okay. With that formula I just told y'all, y'all should be able to get $1,000 for a puppy, 1,500 for a puppy. Okay. You might not get Lee Robinson because you might not really have an eye for it yet, right? You might think it, but the market don't see it that way, right? The consumer don't see that $3,000 that you think that you can get like Lee Robinson. But you can get with that recipe that we just talked about 1,000 to 1,500. Even if you chose mediocre mastiffs, mediocre American bulldogs, mediocre average type of mediocre type of pit bulls, even if you chose that, you would fetch $1,000. Okay. But if y'all want that real big bread, okay, that real big money, tap into a breeder who has dogs that wow you already, and buy from them and build off of that. Okay. Build off of that. And you should be trying to make the dog even more wow than what you purchased. Okay. So that when somebody comes and inquires about your band dogs, your high performance band dogs, you hit them with a price tag. They look at you like, what? But then at the same time, they so ethered up about what they see that they're going to spend. Okay. Just like I was. When I was a fan first back in 2005 of Buff Dogs, just off of a video of an American Bulldog first. And then they scrolled to the website and seen all the other dogs. And I was wowed at them because they had those extreme frames and the extreme muscle and the big heads. It's called the wow factor. It had me ethered up on a dog. Oh, this dog is a what? Man stopper. Oh my God. If that dog bit me, you thinking like that. If that damn muscled up dog came at me, I'll be running, I'll shit my pants. Like you thinking like that when you see it. You're just like, what? How did you, how did they produce what the, right? That's how, that's what you need. Okay. You need that type of dog. If you're trying to get money in this band dog community, in this band dog world, in this band dog market, you need a dog with the wow factor. Just because you take a mastiff and cross it with something doesn't, yeah, it's appealing when you talk about the breeds, but that doesn't mean you're going to get paid when you have puppies, man. Real talk. It doesn't mean you're going to get paid. Okay. That dog has to appeal. The parents, when you showcase the parents, they have to appeal to the consumer who's interested in buying your dogs, buying your puppies. Okay. For you to fetch the money that you want to fetch. Okay. Remember, we talked about that KISS method, that keep it simple. Okay. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. If it's not wowing you and others, you need to have other opinions. Don't be stroking your own self because well, it's wild to me, but then other people see it like, like, okay, well, like you getting that. If you're not getting it without telling people, if you're not out there walking your dog and people like, wow, what is that? Like, if they not doing that, you ain't got the wow factor. That's as real as it gets. You ain't got the wow factor. We got social media, right? We got Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, etc., TikTok, all these things, right? If you're not getting some level of hate and fanfare on that particular dog, you ain't got a dog with the wow factor. Like real talk. If you're not getting the combination of hate and love from your dog, you don't have a wow factor, man. Okay. You're not going to be able to get that top tier dollars. Okay. That's over Lee Robinson money. You understand what I'm saying, y'all? So, in closing, okay, how do we do it? Okay, I just showed you guys how to produce a band dog that would sell for big money. Okay, you got to have size, you got to have an extreme but functional frame. Okay, you got to have a muscle, tight skin. Okay, and then it better perform, right? Right, it better perform, but the visuals got to, it's got to attract you. You got to be attractive to it, or excuse me, attracted to it. You got to be excited about it when you see it. And the dog I got that. And shout out to James. I always say James because he's on here, but I got other customers who's taking advantage of my introductory pricing. Okay. Remember, I'm only a year in selling these band dogs, and I produced my band dogs like 3 years ago, but I didn't start breeding them until 3 years after. I waited till they're 3 years old before I bred them. Okay. But only a year in, I did a filler price of $2,000 for my dogs, just a filler price, because I'm not naive to sales. I'm not naive to being new, so I didn't want to stretch myself to think that I can come in as a newcomer, as a rookie, and get top tier dollars like Mr. Lee Robinson. You know what I mean? So I put a $2,000 price tag and had no problem selling my band dogs for 2,000. Had no problems at all. Okay. Because I knew they was worth more than that. But at the same time, I had to introduce myself to the community. You know, I wanted my consumer to feel that they got a good deal for a quality dog. Now, as those dogs mature, they will understand more, like my brother James here, what he purchased and why he got such a good deal. Okay. He will understand more as the dog develops into what he's supposed to be, that combination. But as time goes on, like for example, the band dogs I have on the market now, I have puppies available now. They went up 1,000. They're $3,000, and I'm not having a problem getting what I'm asking. So now, I mean, a year in, I'm getting Mr. Lee Robinson money now, who's been in the game for way longer than I have, and we definitely saluting Mr. Lee Robinson. But I'm saying, because I'm creating those dogs with that wow factor, I can come in as a rookie and, ask a certain ticket and people be wild at the dogs that they're not balking at. They're not like, oh no, I ain't got no, they're no problem. They're not even asking, they're not what? They're not complaining nothing. How much you want for that, coach? How much you want for that dog guy? I need 3,000 for that, man. Okay. Just like that. My brother James, man, how much you asking for that? Man, I need 2,000, brother James. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting that because the dogs, and then the dogs that I'm using is confirming what I'm asking. So in the future, as I produce even better versions and I get more confident in my dogs, my productions start to, develop and grow, and I can show that production as well as the parents, then I'm going up. You know what I'm saying? The dog out is going up in the price tag. And because I'm the only one with that particular genetic recipe that's producing that phenotype, genotype, I will be able to create that supply and demand that's going to make my price respected to where you can't shop me if you wanted something cheaper, but you couldn't get it like mine. So, of course, if you really want mine, you're going to pay for it. That's just how it's going to work. So, in closing, hopefully you guys understood the topic. Hopefully I broke it down, showed you how to produce that dog that will sell for big money. It is a process. There's no skip to my lose in this process. Okay. You got to take your time. You got to be patient. You got to pick the right dogs. Okay. Don't get caught up in just the breeds of dogs. Make sure the breeds of dogs that you choose are the right ones visually. Okay. That you see genetically, that you're going to see that possibly will come out in the productions and the offspring. Okay. And don't lie to yourself about what is a wow factor. Okay. Don't lie to yourself and say, oh, my dog's wow. Make sure you get, some feedback from people who don't even know you, from people who do know you. Test your dogs out on social media and see if those people that see your dog randomly are wowed by it. Okay. When it's confirmed, then you got something. You know what I'm saying? Shit, you produce some puppies, man. Put a stack on the price tag and see how they go. Man, they gonna go. They gonna go because they got enough wow factor to make people want to spend 1,000 with you. And then over time, up your price. Up your price. So, if you guys don't have any questions, we're gonna wrap this thing up. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to drop some game for you guys and encourage current band dog breeders to, raise the bar in their band dog program and create those wow factors. Okay. Create those wow factors. Yes, they have to perform. That is the whole purpose of a band dog is ability to do what it's supposed to do as a band dog. We know that. But that's not enough to get the money that we want. It's not enough. You know what I mean? Now, if you're comfortable with the average price, stick to it. Stick to what you got going on. But if you want to get top tier dollars, which is out here for the dogs that we're producing, it's out here. That money is there. Then you know what? You better pay attention to what I'm telling you. Also, what I'm showing you and what I'm doing. You better pay attention. So, again, much love and respect to y'all who showed up. Joy, James, King Lou, Frank. You know what I mean? Appreciate you guys' support. And man, tune in next Thursday, man. We'll have another juicy topic that we can get into. And hopefully you guys learned something this evening. If you're, like I said, inspiring to be a band dog breeder, hopefully you paid attention in class. I gave you guys some good game. that you need to follow. Okay. So we're just talking about the wow factor visually. Okay. The motor is a whole different play. The drive, that's a whole different play. But people don't see the drive. They see the motor. I mean, they see the visual first, man. They see what they see first. They don't see the drive first. So, all right, world, appreciate you. You guys have a good night. Until next time, I'll see you next Thursday. I'm out.